You're right. We don't usually tell allies to change their leadership overtly that way, especially in a hostile situation like what they're up against. But to be fair, Bibi Netanyahu is probably not the leader to seek peace the way many in Israel do. His administration has been consistently out of step with his own people, very far right, trying to, overcome the institutions of their democracy there. So I get why people have a hard time with Bibi here and there. But let's stick to our own knitting. But former President Trump, you can respond, but just do it in context of this. He said something that wasn't exactly supportive either. If I lose, you got to blame the Jews for it. I mean, what is that about?
Well, so I'll just start on Bibi. At the end of the day, like our election here, the elections should be determined by the people. Donald Trump or Kamala Harris is going to win the election on November 5th, and one of them will be president. The Israeli people have a right to self-governance and to choose their leadership.
100%.
Now, with respect to President Trump's comments, I was there last night at one of the events, and I listened to his comments. And obviously, people can quibble with him or say it was wrong. But what he was making the point, ultimately, that the Jewish people have a big voice in this election, given the issue of Israel, given the issue of anti-Semitism. And it's an opportunity for them to have their voice heard. And he believes, and I think rightly so, that he has been a strong supporter of Israel. He has combated anti-Semitism here in America. He was the one that implemented the executive order putting the IRA working definition into effect with respect to anti-Semitism on college campuses and violations of Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And I think, frankly, given Kamala Harris's comments that she's open to an arms embargo, given her comments that she did not want Israel to go into Rafah, and given, frankly, the administration's lax approach to Iran, I think what the president was making the point that Israel would be in jeopardy in a Harris administration.
I get that part. I get that argument. I'm just saying, can we both agree? If Donald Trump loses the election, it is not the fault of American Jews. Can we agree on that?
Oh, look, it is absolutely not the fault of American Jews if he loses the election. There's no question about that.
Okay. Congressman, I know it seems like an asinine thing for me to suggest, but in the state of play where we are right now, nothing's too dumb to make sure people get it. Congressman Lawler, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.